Hi Mermaid Junkies, how are you? Did you have a really good weekend? I hope you did. Okay, remember I had said that I was going to do a video about soulmates, so I wanted to go over, I kind of narrowed it down to like 13 things that say you've met your soulmate. Now, some of these things may not resonate with you as much as some of the other ones might, because I know that there's so many articles and stuff out there, but I'm sort of going off of like Abraham Hicks' teachings and how she talks about soulmates and like how you recognize your soulmate. And so just a little backstory, like I had always believed in soulmates when I was younger. Like I'm a very ethereal type child, and so I always, fantasize about that fairy tale, and Pisces are very much fantasy driven signs, and so that's probably had a lot to do with me thinking that. Anyway, I always believed in soulmates. I never would say it too much just because a lot of times, people think that's malarkey or like they don't believe in it, so it's better just like for me, like not to ever really say anything because people would think that I'm like cuckoo. And they already think that as it is. So anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But okay, so here's the funny thing is that, like I said before, I was married, and so I found myself like in the last probably 3 years prior to my divorce from Mitch, I had been thinking about soulmates a lot. Like it just came, like it kept perpetuating, and I kept thinking more and more about it and stuff. And I felt really bad inside because I'm like, why do I keep thinking about a soulmate all the time when I'm married already? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of times too that you'll hear different things, on YouTube and different videos and stuff, and people putting blog posts and stuff out about how like there's a huge difference between life partners and soulmates, and there really is. And unless you've experienced soulmate love, you don't understand what people are talking about when they say they've met their soulmate. I thought I did. I mean, at least I believed in it and I had heard things about it and stuff, but to really understand it until you've met yours, you really don't, you haven't comprehended it in a sense. I don't know if that sounded bad or anything, but whatever. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to do 13 different things, and these were things that happened to me. And so I don't know if you saw it yesterday, but I posted this picture of this letter, and it was a Starbucks card. And it was a letter to Jeffrey, and I didn't know who he was. He had won a contest back in 3 years ago. And the only thing that I knew of him was I knew that he was from Brooksville. And I think I had seen that maybe at one time when he liked my page on Facebook, because I wasn't a personal friend of his. He was just a fan, which I didn't think anything else, I didn't think anything about it. But I remember writing his name down, and Mitch actually is the one that did the video giveaway for the gift card. And so what is so cute is that when Jeffrey and I actually got together and stuff, I remember him, the only time I had ever heard from him was one time in 2014. And, he sent me a message through my messenger, and he had always, like I said, had been really super polite and everything. I'm probably gonna have to make this like 2 videos and split it in half and just do like 7 on each video because it's gonna be long. Because I wanted to share my experience as far as recognizing your soulmate, and not just like, list off all of the 13 things. So anyway, Jeffrey had won that contest, and I mailed him off the card or whatever and just said, thank you so much. Thank you for your kindness and for, supporting my channel and stuff. And didn't think anything else about it. Well, a couple of weeks later, and this was like in 2014, he sends me this message, and he's like, I know that, this might sound crazy and stalkerish or whatever. He's like, but I really enjoy your videos and stuff, which was kind of a surprise to me because I didn't realize it until I went back to all of my YouTube subscribers that I have an equal amount of men and women. I mean, like it's an equal amount of men that watch my videos, which was surprising to me because I was thinking, I mean, I'm always addressing everybody as girls and stuff like that. And so when he said that he watched it, and then a couple other people kind of like chimed in and said, yeah, I watch your videos too and stuff. And so I was a little bit taken back. So anyway, he inbox messaged me and he goes, you know, if you need to block me or whatever, I understand you're married and everything. He goes, but do you believe in soulmates? And I was like, oh my God, I totally do. You know, being my crazy self. It looks like my makeup's really dark, but it's not. I think it's the lighting in here. He goes, because I have seen you and I walking hand in hand, like back in the early 1900s. Like we have both like old-fashioned clothing on, and we're walking along this beach. And he said, I've seen this vision like several times. And I didn't think anything about it, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I thought it was cool and everything, but that was as far as that went until a whole nother year. So that was in 2014. And I didn't see Jeffrey on my page anymore, like for a long time. So I didn't even think about it. But anyway, so that's how that ended up. And obviously I didn't block him. I thought it was kind of cute and stuff. But like I said, I didn't think anything else about it. Okay, so one of the first things is that you feel really safe with your soulmate. Like, if you've ever had like distrust issues, or like you've been in numerous relationships and stuff, and you may not trust yourself or your deepest, darkest secrets with even your partner. Because I know a lot of people that are married and like they don't tell their partner everything, and like there's some things that's like, yeah, we're gonna keep that under wraps. Like that person doesn't need to know that. And I mean, I guess to tell him myself, you know, I mean, I used to be that way with Mitch. I mean, there's certain things I wasn't going to tell him, like how I really felt about certain things and stuff. I was just like, no, I don't want to hurt their feelings or whatever. But with a soulmate, you feel very comfortable with them, and they will tell you like their deepest, darkest secrets, like that nobody probably on the planet knows besides them and besides you. And so it's been that way with Jeffrey and I too. Like I know some stuff about him, and he knows stuff about me that like no one would ever, like I'd never tell another human being. Like I had never told another human being, and still haven't and won't, but he's the only one that knows. But you feel really safe with them, your soulmate. You feel really safe and comfortable. So that's one thing, is that you can share with them things that maybe you've never told anybody else about yourself. This was another one too, that like when I was doing like the research and stuff for the different signs, is that when I first met Jeffrey, I recognized him in a family member. And so I don't know if it's, you know, depending whether it's your parents, your mom, your sibling, you know, a grandparent or something, like there's something inside them that when you look at them, you see a family member, not in a creepy, weird, gross way or anything, but you recognize them. And when I look at Jeffrey, I recognize my Grandpa Johnson in him. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I've had that picture I had hanging in my house of him, you know, back in the day. But he reminds me of my great-grandfather when I look at him. So that's kind of, so I know that that's true. Let's see what else. Okay, so number 3 is you have the sense about them that you've known them before. Like you may have not been able to place it, and you probably haven't. It's probably on a spiritual level, but you recognize them. You feel like, when I look at this person, I've known him. Like I've seen him before, or I've known him. And the reason is probably because you have, probably in another lifetime, you've known them. Okay, so another one, number 4, is there's uncanny connections between like dates. It could be birthdays. It could be like meetings. You know, when you met them, it's like the dates are uncanny. And I'll tell you a thing about Jeffrey and I went back and looked on that envelope yesterday, wondering like, okay, I wonder when that date was. It's almost to the day that when I mailed that letter out to him, which was 2 years ago, to the following date of when we actually physically met for the first time is within days apart. So that's interesting. Another thing is Jeffrey's father has the same birthday as my daughter. Jeffrey's sister has the same birth date as my son Brooker. And Jeffrey actually has the same birthday as my father. So they have the same birthday. So those are some uncanny dates and too, as well. Number 5 is you've had cryptic dreams about them prior to meeting them. And this is true because I remember, of course, I didn't know it was my soulmate, and I wasn't even looking for my soulmate, to be honest. I had thinking about it and stuff like that, but I had never thought, oh, I'm going to get a divorce and go find my soulmate. Like, that was never my intentions, ever, ever, ever. And so I remember prior to Jeffrey winning that contest when I was in California, he actually, I had actually had several dreams, the same dream about, I didn't know the face or anything. I couldn't make out a face, but I just remember my dreams are very vivid, and dreams basically tell you, they're almost like premonition. That all I could see was my soulmate was coming to me, and he was walking up a sidewalk, and I lived in this old tiny little house, and I was by myself, and I had all my old vintage clothes on, and I was sweeping my front porch, and it was fall. I remember all the leaves had fallen on the ground. Well, guess what? That's when I met Jeffrey, is in the fall. So that's kind of cool. Okay, let's see what the next one is. Number 6 is you may have been with them before. Like, you may have met them before when you were young, maybe as a child, and then you go your separate ways or whatever, and then you reunite. Now, that never happened with Jeffrey and I. We did grow up in the exact same town. Like I said, our family members, like, he's distantly related, like distant. We have the same, oh, Oliver's so cute. We have the same family members, like the Motts and the Stanleys, and Jeffrey's aunt was actually married to I think it's my great uncle. Anyway, so that's some similarities. Now, and I had said this on another video, is that Jeffrey and I hung around the same people. We went to the same parties in high school. Everybody seemed to know Jeffrey, but I had never met him, didn't know him, never heard of him, didn't know anything about his family. But all of the people that we kind of talk about now in high school, it's like, oh my God, they were my close friend. Oh my God, how? And you never actually come in contact with them, which I think is really interesting, because it's the universe making, you're going to weave in and out until the time is perfect. The timing is perfect for you to meet your soulmate. So that actually does happen. Number 7 is you recognize them when you look at them. Like, when I look at Jeffrey, I feel like I've known him like lifetimes. I've known him before, like I have known him. And so I think that happens when you look at them. Like, it's just different when you look at your soulmate compared to when you look at like a life partner, or you look at a boyfriend or somebody that you're just into at the moment. There's like this deep resonance within your souls almost. Number 8 is that you feel what they feel. Like, it's almost like intuitive. You have this sense of intuitiveness about you. Like, there's so many times that like I know when Jeffrey's feels bad, or like something's wrong with him, and he doesn't even have to say anything. I just know he knows something's wrong. And the other thing is it's kind of like cool, because like I'll go to text Jeffrey and he'll be texting me, and we'll get it exactly at the same time. Or I'll go to call him and he'll have called me and we pick up the phone the exact same time. Like, you think that sounds like, oh, that's bull. But I promise you that happens. Like, I can't tell you how many times that's happened. So that happens a lot. So there's these uncanny moments of feeling intuitive with your soulmate. Number 9 is you have this sense of when you're apart, And I remember my aunt saying this because I think my aunt's married to her soulmate too, the one that like I copied the bangles from, my Aunt Sina. And she used to tell me, she's like, this is before I had ever met Jeffrey, but I remember her saying, you know, oh my gosh, I can't, it's like you have this sense of longing when you're apart from your soulmate that you're like, I can never get enough of them. Not like an obsessive weird way or anything. It's like they don't get on your nerves. It's really weird, you guys. Not weird, but it's just so indescribable that you're just like anticipatory, like wanting Jeffrey to come home all day. Like I miss him. There's like this longing when you're away from your soulmate. You just want to be around them all the time. I know that sounds hard to believe, doesn't it? But it's true. Let's see. Number 10 is you have this intense chemistry with them. I can just be standing near Jeffrey and it's like he permeates this energy that's like drives me batshit crazy, like in a good way. But when you're around your soulmate like that, it's almost like you can feel the energy coming off of them. It's weird. Like my heart skips beats. You get butterflies. It's always like that. And I've been with him for a year now. And it's still like that. Usually, you know, like in relationships, that shit fizzles out like in 3 months down the road. You're like, haha, okay, now once I get to know you, I'm not that super crazy about you as much as I was. But like the longer you're with your soulmate, the more intense it gets. Instead of it lacking and kind of fizzling out, it gets more intense as the more that you're around your soulmate, which is really super cool. You see my bow? Oh, my hair's something. Okay, so number 11 is you feel like your soulmate is home to you. Like, I feel like Jeffrey's home to me. Does that make sense? Like this, you always want to go back home. And so Jeffrey to me is like going home. I want to be around him all the time. Number 12 is that you feel like your soulmate is like, you know, you're two separate people, but it's almost like you're one soul, but you're two individuals, because Jeffrey and I are so much on so many levels. We're so alike, but obviously we're different. Like, and so they say what happens is that when soulmates, you know, because there's a lot of like, we're soul family. Like everybody that's on the earth right now with me is basically a soul family. Like we come to earth in like, as a soul family, like oneness, you know. But there's that difference when you're with a soulmate, because it's almost like you're the same soul, but you've almost like broken in two. So he's like the male version and I'm the female version. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does make sense to me. So, but like I said, you're two separate beings, but you feel like you're one. It's indescribable, you guys. Really, when I say that, it sounds crazy, but there's no denying it. And that's the other thing too, is that when you recognize your soulmate, you know, they say, okay, well, will they recognize me? If I recognize my soulmate, will they recognize me? And yes, most of the time, I mean, I'm sure it could happen on numerous occasions if one isn't aligned, you know, because you have to mate with your own soul. You have to be complete and happy within your own soul before you're going to meet your soulmate. Because if not, what's going to happen is you will collide with that person. And if they're not ready and you are, or they're ready and you're not, then you will collide, and you'll have a lot of those same things that'll happen with soulmates, but you'll end up breaking apart and like splitting up again, because you haven't connected with your whole soul. So you're not, you know, a whole soul can't meet a whole soul. You have to meet your whole soul if you're whole. And so if one's still working on crap over here on the side, but the other soulmate's already ready, the universe will make it to where one will keep having like almost like place cards, you know, like a relationship. They'll just keep putting that's how Source does it. Like the universe will keep providing almost like a bookmark for you, because you can never not meet up with your soulmate. It will happen ultimately. And but the timing has to be perfect. And anyway, so one other thing that I would love to leave with you is this, is that if you think about soulmates, or you've always thought about having a soulmate, or you think you may have a soulmate, there's a good indication. That is a very good indication that you actually do have a soulmate. If you think about it and you believe in them, that means that you do have one. And so I hope this was exciting, and I hope you're having a good day. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao.